bit, plus the Samira. Yeah, Kali and Nidalee to boot. OMG on the red side this time around, though, so changing things up just a tiny bit. And kind of surprisingly, we're going to get our mid lane matchup to start off the draft for both sides, I would think, if they do want to lock in the LeBlanc here for OMG.
Yeah, it seems like not wanting to wait till 4-5 for things to get
Okay,
out.
I like this a lot better. I like this a lot better.
What a surprise. What a surprise, Mazel. So, for context, we're just going to keep going with numbers. This is our 23rd Corki game and our 17th Viktor game. The third most played mid laner is Vex at 7 games. It is pretty much this matchup every time. We say that every game. We will keep saying it in a way of complaint. And Xin Zhao is also locked in. Holy Jesus, I'm shocked.
Things going pretty safe right now as Shun locks in the Lee Sin and the Gwen is picked up for IG in the first phase.
I do got to say, though, we are getting a bit of difference from how the first 2 days went, because pretty much days 1, 2, and 3 were all like, okay, you pick your jungle, you pick your bot lane in first rotation, you save mid and top for 4-5. IG this time around feel more comfortable going into the depths of the AD carry and support pool for the fact that all the S tier ADs were banned away. So it's like, hey, let's get all the strong champions in our solo lanes, save that for 4-5. We are going to get Shanji on the Gragas once again, so definitely prioritizing the comfort coming in on these AP champions. We saw in terms of laning phase, he did completely fine last game. I would not recommend going for another dive. Maybe if you do that, though, we get like 3 men up towards the top side this time around if you're going to go for a dive against Gwen. But yeah, Mazel, keep that away from me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how successful that's going to be last time around. It's a bit of a yikes. That's definitely going to be going in the highlight reel montage at some point for the LPL this year, because that was absolutely nutty. It is into the second phase here that we had the Gragas picked up for OMG, so taking some tools from last game, but as well as utilizing some that IG had picked up for themselves. And then we have the Xayah first banned by OMG, followed by the Rel actually taken away by IG.
Now for OMG, I think you have 2 ways to pivot into the spot lane. You could either go with something like an Ezreal and play off the fact that you do have the Viktor against the Corki, play off the fact that you will have an AD carry that will ultimately outrange whatever the side of IG picks up. You have disengage coming from your Gragas and top side and lean a little bit into that. You might be lacking in early lane pressure, but you should still have consistent push coming in from the Viktor to make it okay. I think the second route you could go is something like a Jhin or a Varus, have a safer and a bot lane with more presence in mid game, but I think you'll lack some of that late game strength if you don't go with the Ezreal.
Can we just go back to when nobody cared about the bottom lane and like everybody just let ADCs do whatever they want? I don't like this anymore. We have literally almost all the bans but 2 are focused towards the bot side of the map. And we have 6 ADC bans to boot. Like, that is insanity. And we still have powerful picks on the table for the ADC pool. We have the Kaisa still, the Jhin, the Ezreal that was picked up for Abel. It is crazy to me. The pool that is such an ocean right now, it seems like, in the LPL. And the Rakan is picked up by IG.
And I would expect the Kaisa to be what follows, and IG just going to lean back into a comp that does want to all in. Again, OMG did follow the kind of initial path that we set out for them if they pick the Ezreal, in terms of having the kite potential to come out, having the disengage and the zone control. For the side of IG, it will be quite interesting because you are playing a little bit on a knife's edge from the fact that you don't have any... Like, you don't have like a Nautilus or something that can mindlessly run forward, right? Rakan, you do got to be a little bit more delicate with the way you are chaining your engages, either going in with Lee Sin or coming off on a flank. Lee Sin is the same, coming from behind with a kick, and we get cold Yuumi. Look at the grin. Look at the cheeky little smirk on his face.
That's just the worst. That's the worst kind of person. You know what you're doing. I was going to say, so they highlighted it, but I would say the lack of priority on Leona, I felt like was very interesting because I do feel Leona is so strong right now in replacing that kind of full-on engage style. But the Yuumi paired up with the likes of this composition, with the Ezreal, with the Xin Zhao, even with the Viktor there, that's scary stuff to round out the OMG composition.
Oh, yeah, later on, this is going to be so annoying to play against, right? You can go on the Xin Zhao. You can look for picks continuously set up with the Qs from the Yuumi to enable the slow, allow the wind becomes lightning to hit off. You're definitely going to outscale the opposite side. Yuumi just going to lock everyone right in front of her. And for the side of IG, I feel like I'm so tired of saying this. I feel like we're going to be looking at the Corki. Early game, they're definitely
hold on. I need you to be absolutely positive that's where you want to look.
I'm tired of him, Mazel. I'm tired of it.
It's only one weekend, man. What are you going to do?
For IG, I feel like we're definitely going to be looking a lot of how they can get ahead early. If they are going to try and set up some kind of like plays or dives, early ganks on this bottom side, maybe look for some type of cross mapping or plays like that to set up, and then especially post 6. Because again, we know if this Yuumi Ezreal are allowed to freely scale, I mean, your top side's going to become unkillable with the amount of sustain coming out from the Yuumi. Ezreal's going to be untouchable. Kaisa's going to be jumping right into a Yuumi ult every time she goes in. And yeah, the mid and late game can be a little bit rough.
A little bit rough, you say. But the thing for me is Xun on the Lee Sin, it fits the playstyle. We saw him being aggressive last game on the Xin Zhao. This time, looking for those unique paths for the Lee Sin. We do get onto the Rift for the second game of the day of our long final day of the first week. We've got IG taking on OMG.
You know what I think is very interesting about this matchup, and with Yuumi in particular as well, is from my time as a coach and just kind of listening to whether it's coaches from other regions, players, analysts, is that there's been like differing opinions on how to deal with Yuumi. I think the one that's come out more fruition, right, is just hard targeting bot, looking for ganks, looking for dives, because she's in a champion who can really do anything to survive these dives. Decently easy to stack waves on. But I have met teams before who also went the opposite way, to say, hey, no, go shut down their top side, because one of the things that's so annoying and good about Yuumi is how she enables a lot of bruisers to be these unkillable forces. I think I lean with the former. I think just targeting that Yuumi is a very good strategy, and it looks like IG might do that.
And Abel taking some damage early on. The grand entrance connects, and Abel has to burn his flash. The Ignite also burned there. Cold just trying to get some damage back. The Cold in a very different predicament this time around. Not on the Rel, not on the frontline engager. Has to play a little bit safer.
3 summoner spells for 1 massive HP advantage over to the side of IG. They're starting to get some of these wards down on the bottom half of the map as well, which is where Xun is going to be pathing. So it looks like IG are going to follow the mantra of going up against Yuumi, just putting so much pressure on that lane. They will be able to have consistent control now, and heck, they're even spotting out Aki, so having good vision to make sure that their own bot lane doesn't fall prey to any ganks.
And also just want to, go back to the conversation about bot lane and also the first strike Ezreal, right, and see where that ends up leading towards, because it is a little bit different, I feel like, but still towards the same goal of trying to get as much money as you can to make this build work. And it is going to be interesting to see what build Abel does. Yeah,
we have still seen some of like the Divine Thunder normal Ezreal come out. You also have the Crown of the Shattered Queen build. Yeah, and when you look at the side of IG, right, they do have a lot of burst damage come out. I think you're especially going to be looking at Xiaoyueji and Xun. As speaking about Xun, looking for the gank mid.
Oh, barely misses the Sonic Wave there. First gank will not be completed for Xun and IG.
I actually think I would like the Crown build this game. When you think about it, right? As Abel, as long as you don't die, your team is definitely going to win these extended skirmishes. They have a ton of AP damage coming out as well. Just, getting the AP, the mana, everything feels like it will be quite nice for Abel this time around. I don't think this is very much like a Divine Thunder. I'm just going to look to stay in range of you the whole time, auto you down. Extra security and the longer team fights is what OMG are looking for.
Sustained damage and a little bit later game team fights especially. It's really cool to see the absolute differences in the strategy of the same team, right? OMG game number 1, pedal to the metal. We jump on them and we do not stop. Game number 2, a little bit more reserved, switching sides, right? And picking a composition that can bend but not break all the way.
Yeah, for both teams, I definitely feel like there are some playable conditions there. We've already seen IG trying to set up some of the early aggression that we hinted at, with Xun targeting towards the mid lane. Heck, I mean, beautiful level 1 coming out from IG's bottom lane. secure themselves an advantage, though Abel and Cold have been able to stay even in CS, so they haven't been able to find too much from that. And now Shun just doing a nice job of trying to keep up vision and see what Aki's doing.
It's been
Make
finding
sure
him everywhere.
play the way they want.
That's the second scrying that has found out Aki and his pathing.
You know, we need to find... Okay, Abel.
Oh, wow. I don't know if that's the 2v2 you wanted to take. Abel overextending, and Abel just dies. Xiaoyueji is on the board. First blood for IG.
I'm scratching my head a little bit at what we just saw. I mean, I know what we saw. We saw Abel E forward, get an auto off, Lucas pop out and press W, but not too sure why we saw it. My guess is we'll get a replay. I feel like in LPL we like to show like very obvious replays of things that are just questionable and then, you know, question them. So here we go. Abel showing up. I don't know if he's seen Lucas. You would assume he has. Lucas has been in the lane the whole time. Just goes in. W automatically comes out from the Rakan. Abel nowhere to go because he did blow his summoner spells from the level 1.
Yep. And phase shift forward. Still getting that first blood for IG. Definitely on the path towards success that you want to be. Now we get 3 bodies mid lane to try to take down Creme as the roam timer came up for Lucas.
Yeah, IG trying to keep control of mid. They know Corki should lose this matchup as we've seen every game. So just consistently making sure Viktor can't find those advantages. Does have to blow the Chaos Storm right now, force Yuekai off. I wonder if wanting to look for a bit of a reset himself. And OMG responding, 4-man having to walk up to take control over River. We need to remember, Yuumi not a champion who can solo walk through River by yourself. Not safe enough. You kind of need to be escorted by your AD carry or jungler, as we do see OMG now answering back with their own vision game towards the bottom side.
Vision in the Dragon Pit, not up the Dragon yet. Feeling more like a reset to come out for Aki at this point, with the lane states the way they are, and especially a lot of things still up in the air. We'll look at Shun's pathing down towards the bot side. Did get spotted out by the control ward that was put there. And so nicely done on that reset. Now towards the top side is Aki. And Shun knows that this is hit.
Even OMG seem like they're conceding it. I saw some question mark pings come up on Dragon on the bottom side. So OMG consciously kind of giving this up, realizing, hey, our bot lane and mid lane are not in a position where we can look for this fight just yet. Gonna path once again from top to bot. And for Aki, I mean, you're just trying to slow the pace of the game down, right? You've already had some vision on Shun. You knew exactly what he was going to do in that play. And as long as your bot lane keeps scaling up, especially now that they have summoners back up, so a lot less threat coming out from this 2v2 of IG, and OMG will be making their ways into the mid game just fine.
They will do so. I think Shun has had a very proactive yet not bloody performance so far, but that's going to be super important in this kind of talk about a little bit of draft. Meanwhile, Abel gains back as the engagement a bit wide for IG's bot lane.
IG's bottom lane is, you know, starting to find a bit of an advantage. Abel, though, is catching a wave. Rift Herald Mazel. Rift Herald is up. And when Rift Herald is up, teams go to Rift Herald. And it means there's potential action as Aki sits around mid lane.
A Valkyrie there for Yuekai to get away, and Aki not gonna pull the trigger. Actually, oh my gosh. That whole series of events, man. If Aki hits that, he knows he doesn't have Valkyrie. It would have been an absolute storm to follow, but does not find him out, and the back comes through for Yuekai.
And now IG rotating their bot lane over already. Aki's still kind of hiding his presence. They don't know he's here. Looks like he's waiting for Creme to push out this wave before he starts making his way up. IG will have numbers advantage first with the fact that OMG's bot lane is still making their way, but the fact that Creme was still in lane means that IG are going to have to answer a wave before they can walk into this topside river.
Looking for a death brush right now, and Lucas is about to walk straight up to it. He knows what's going on, realizes it. Gets the pelt into the non-visioned bush there for
Shun and neny were doing it the whole time.
Yeah, they literally were. Shanji is at the pit, but the Rift Herald just taken by IG. Shun picks it up easily. No harm, no foul.
No, I'm disappointed by OMG. And you know what's funny? Now that I've figured out how to just slam these Karate Kid quotes into here. I feel like this one is a very LPL one. It's okay to lose to opponents. Must not lose to fear. That is the LPL. That is the LPL. Like, you could go in and fight and die. It doesn't matter. But if you're scared, if you're just sitting there not willing to fight, out of this league. Exactly. And that is what we saw there. OMG lost it.
Aki is trying to check out the Krugs there, but sees neny and Xin.
Yep, very
1v1. Lucas coming up here to make it not a 1v1. The flash is there. The Chaos Storm is not enough. Creme goes down.
I just love the amount of emphasis that IG have put on this mid lane. We've seen both Lucas and Shun hovering over so consistently, so Creme hasn't been able to find any advantages. IG have pretty much consistently kept pressure up in mid lane with just sheer numbers advantage throughout the course of the game. We're going to see here Yuekai looking for a bit of a trade. You can tell he's baiting him in. Gravity Storm and Chaos Field both come out. Lucas flashing forward with the E into the quickness, then following through with the W. Yuekai luckily able to back off, just throw out a rocket, and they guarantee that kill. Man, Lucas is still going on the top side of the map.
Yeah, he is.
This guy is enabling everyone.
Working out beautifully. The Khan looking real good for Lucas at this point. Both main carries having 1 kill to their name. It's going to be nice as Kraken Slayer completed for Xiaoyueji.
Kraken Slayer just coming out right. Just June once again. Kind of guarding the top tower. Still, on the opposite side, speaking about items though, Abel has had the Essence Reaver for quite a while, right? Going for that as your first item. Pretty nice early game power spike with the Spellblade active, damage coming after you use an ability. So he will be able to contend in some of these shorter trades to try to win off of the range advantage he does provide. And with the fact that gold is still even at 11 minutes into the game, I think despite the fact that IG have been more proactive, OMG are still playing towards their win condition.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And slowly but surely going to come alive for them. They just have to make sure not to bleed out too heavily like last game for the opposite side, right? Where IG were just bleeding out that early game. There was no hope to kind of stem that. And OMG are kind of in the same predicament right now. But with a little bit of a brighter future, it feels like. Now, as second dragon of the game comes online in about 20 seconds, a lot of bodies for IG down this way to make sure they secure it.
Both teams look like they are pivoting around that one. IG, though, are the team that does have control, getting even more deep vision down. So anywhere that OMG walk into, they will know. Looks like potentially going to try and set up a pick around mid lane with this Rift Herald.
Just goes for the engage there. Chaos Storm is right there as the backup from Aki is enough to dissuade them from it. The TP completed from Shanji as well. Now you got Abel here. Shanji going for the kill. Lucas dies and first kill goes to OMG. And they're going to definitely need that one.
This is what we talked about, right? About must not lose to fear. That play looked very questionable. Lucas saw both members there. I was actually really surprised he committed with the dive and didn't just keep posturing and be like, hey, I'm here. Don't walk too far forward. You're not allowed to get Herald. Allow for the Herald to just get the charge off for free. You back off. But no, actually commits to the dive. Creme just throws down the gravity field. And I love Shanji walking up the last second being like, yo, this is mine. We're going to see here, Lucas did see both members. Instantly, gravity field does go down. Lucas gets locked up, takes a ton of damage. Eel must be used. Lucky doesn't go down yet. Shanji, though. E, flash, casket, bam, death. Hey, more death.
What? Aki and Co got the bot lane dive in between tower onto Xiaoyueji. Wow. We got to see a replay of that one.
Yeah, it looks like Lucas wasn't even there, so 3-man dive onto 1. That's how Xiaoyueji was able to go down. IG now just answering a little bit late. OMG now positioning themselves with about a 1K gold lead. So even despite the fact that IG have been the early aggressors and the ones trying to find all these proactive plays, again, it's come down to the counter plays coming out from OMG that have kept this game so tight-knit.
And that whole setup was in favor of IG around the dragon that was spawning in just a few seconds. I know second dragon isn't that big of a deal, but setting yourself up faster than OMG, I feel like is very important in this game right now because you do not want to get to the late game for this team. And they end up just giving up the dragon and that kill over the mid lane. So things not going as planned, per se, for IG.
And, you know, like you're saying, things not going as planned for IG, but for OMG, it's also nice to see this continued evolution. Last split, another question mark from team as King comes out.
That's huge.
He's gone.
Lucas. Yep, they just delete Creme off the rip.
Yeah, not beautiful angle coming from Shun. Makes his way around the Raptor camp. Comes over the wall, finds the kick. Now we're going to have more consistent pressure on this mid lane turret. Aki is here, though. They're going in.
They have a lot of damage there. Aki's just going forward. He does have a lot of support with Cold, and you just see how crucial this Yuumi is to the composition. He almost loses no health here.
Yeah, we can see what's going to happen as this game goes longer with what Cold will be able to do. I still don't mind Yuumi. Maybe I used to mind Yuumi, but not anymore. You know, Rusty's out there on Twitter. He's mad at Yuumi for all of us. I think Corki definitely is completely taken over.
Corki is the new Yuumi. So now we need a definitely not Corki skin that is just Yuumi. neny just walking into it, a 1v3, it looks like, trying to dissuade them.
And look at the mini-map, Mazel.
Yeah.
Xiaoyueji is on the opposite side of the map.
There's no way for him to get here. Yuekai also just used the package. So IG back away from the Rip Herald fight.
Yeah, this is a very delayed response coming out from IG. And this is something we just see a lot of. Honestly, probably one of the most common mistakes, I feel like, in LPL games about whether responding to late rotations in terms of where enemy already controls right. It's like, okay, even if you wanted to contest, you knew when Herald was spawning. If not, just completely commit to the full trade side. You could have already taken this turret. You could have already had deep vision in the enemy jungle. Maybe you could have caught Abel off in transition when he came back down, but massive missed window from IG.
He is, but they're still trucking here. They've still got the Corki. Insane, crazy stats this build will have later on, and Xiaoyueji just trying to hold on as this Kaisa to get into the game team fight. Now Lucas pulling the trigger again onto Abel, but can't find it. Power about to go down. Aki and Cold are here, and this is the combo you're looking for. You've got Aki with the Yuumi on top of the final chapter, help seal the deal, and Abel gets one kill. Xiaoyueji tries to use the killer instinct, but will die as well, and Creme coming through clutch. OMG are on a rampage at this point. It just feels like they have taken control of the momentum.
Especially when we've been talking about that OMG's comp play this game Gates is going to be so annoying to deal with. And they are already finding their advantages at 15 minutes into the game is huge. IG are answering, at least in other lanes. Yuekai picking up a turret in the mid lane. For OMG, though, they just have the ability to keep going. And I don't see how Shun's going to put any damage down onto Aki while Cold's attached.
So what is, like, I know the ability is called Killer Instinct for Xiaoyueji, but the fact that Aki is looking so comfortable in knowing when he can go into 1v3s, 1v4s, unmatched fights, because it's incredible right there. The backside fight against IG, who were the ones putting in pressure, and the thought of, I've got Cold on me, we've got final chapter, we've got range with the Ezreal, let's get it.
Yeah, we're going to see here exactly what happens. Cold pop from Yuumi, Wind becomes lightning. Instantly, Aki goes in, they lock down Lucas. And it just comes from what you talked about with how much Aki is enabled by this Yuumi. Able easily having the ability to close the distance and just make sure the collapse comes full force. And Aki now, with Cold on him once again, can just keep running at IG. He doesn't care.
Like, he's literally walking into a 3v5 right now, and it does not matter. The Dragon getting so low. There's the grand entrance inside. The Dragon goes over to Aki. They claim the second Dragon of the game, and now OMG are taking the team fight. Oh my God! You are dying out here onto the Rift. The final chapter is alive and well once again, and Shanji's trying to make it stick. He's got the damage, but can he get the actual keep up here? The body slam is available shortly, and you've got the follow from Abel. They take down Xiaoyueji, and it's just slow but sure death coming to IG. You needed to sweep the leg, Johnny. You couldn't do it, and now OMG are about to win this karate tournament.
I absolutely love Shanji and Cold chasing all the way to the fountain. Slows coming off the barrels, slows coming off the Yuumi Qs. Now, they've not only picked up a bunch of kills, they're pivoting into a turret mid lane. They're going to get a vision control topside for Baron. OMG just got everything on the map.
At a snap of a finger, it's a 5,000 gold lead for OMG. They just took this game, flipped it on its head, then turned it back around and flipped it again. It is insanity right now what Aki is able to do with Cold.
Yeah, Shun instantly kicking away. Aki doesn't do anything. You don't need him out of the pit. You yourself have to run away from that situation after it goes down. The rest of the burst follows up. Shun has to run away. I love Shanji for continuing to follow up. Beautiful cast coming out from him. And I love that they realize they can just keep running them down with the amount of chase up, the amount of slows that they have on this team. The exhaust still there for Cold. Instantly popped onto the enemy AD carry. And Shanji and Cold don't stop. They go all the way for the kills, Mazel.
There ain't no stopping the big man once he's rolling. And Shanji, Cold combo. Honestly, Cold with anybody on this team is terrifying. And that's exactly what we pointed out in the draft when we saw the Yuumi locked in.
And now OMG using that Yuumi to control space so well. Shanji clearing out some vision. IG on the opposite of the map. And they're spotted! OMG can start Baron!
They are. Oh, no. The Baron is just burned down, and yet another objective goes to OMG with no response unless Lucas and neny can do anything. They're committing TP. It's too late, too little. Baron's already down, and OMG ready to take the fight afterwards. Final chapter coming away. Some damage dealers are on the side. Package coming to split the fight, but he's immediately taken out of it. And now Shanji with Cold. They are unstoppable. And OMG want to make this a quick night. Yuekai dies, and it's just neny.
OMG following up with the success in 2021, pushing forward into 2022 with this new top laner. They have so many options in terms of how they can play the game. He is popping off, Cold right alongside him, and Creme as well, dishing out the damage.
I was high on this team already to start off the season because of keeping the roster. I believe in continuity. I believe in building up your product and knowing what you have in your chamber. And OMG are looking so damn good with this roster, and it just makes them one of my favorite teams at this point. They are all handling these pressured moments so well, and the decision making, that killer instinct I was talking about earlier, it is so alive and present.
Yeah, and I mean, we come into the replay, but I feel like a lot of what matters is what came before this. Now just all the members of IG are so close, OMG easily able to chase down. But the zoning that started off this fight to come out from Creme with the gravity field, the fact that they had the vision control down bot side to spot out Shun and know they can instantly start up the Baron, that's what led to this. IG were forced to get to a position of trying to stop them, but they were so far behind it just opens up the engage.
Creme is 100%.
Creme might be in trouble
here.
though.
Got Lucas waiting in the bush. The TP also called here. Chaos Storm is a lot though, and they pull off. Now Lucas almost just dies. They double TP'd for this, and no, it's all doomed for IG. Aki almost gets the win, becomes lightning connection onto Lucas, but Lucas gets out with a nicely timed flash. Shanji has the speed, the prowling projectile. One more boop. It's not enough. It is the final chapter for Cole gets the kill. Because why not? Solo kill for the wonderful, at this point, Yuumi in this game, and OMG have snowballed out of nowhere against IG, and they will claim this series 2-0, but they got a couple more kills to get under their belts here if they do want to do so. The last-ditch effort from IG is not going to be enough. Shanji's getting a little bit lower. Aki goes on to Shun. Dragon Rage kick back, but it's not enough. Xiaoyueji trying to make something happen. The Nexus dies, and OMG go 2-0 in our first series of the night.
Man, OMG are coming into LPL swinging on.
Look at that walk. Look at that confidence.
The board. Shanji's looked good every single game we've seen in the LPL so far. Creme has not lost a step. Abel, honestly, I think we've seen more carry performances out of him in the